All right. All right, welcome to the Newsfloor. I'm Mike Ill. And then you go, I'm Valerie.
I'm Valerie. Welcome to the Newsfloor.
Yeah.
Watch, we'll be on like front page and we'll be like doing a comedy routine.
Oh, crap, we're live.
We are actually live now. Well, Mike, you're always welcome to stay. For those tuning in, don't know, this is superstar Mike Ill,
Yep,
the DJ.
world-renowned bedroom DJ.
World-renowned bedroom DJ, also known as my favorite producer who hangs out in the StreamYard backstage. But
I love the backstage. Everyone knows
I
that.
always I always like bringing you up for a random surprise dance bop together when we listen to the new tracks of the week. So we'll see which track I bring you up for. I have an idea.
I'll get my moves ready.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, I'm gonna kick you out now.
All
Bye.
right.
Alrighty. Hello everyone and welcome to the news floor. It is Wednesday. It is 4 p.m. Pacific time over here in California, which means it is time for our weekly update of all things dance music, the new tracks, the news, whatever's going on that people are talking about. And I feel like I would I would definitely be fired if I didn't talk about Daft Punk this week. Definitely top of mind. So I'm kicking things off with a play of what Mike and I were just talking about is probably one of our favorite Daft Punk songs. And I don't know. I feel like everyone's probably going down memory lane this week, listening to all their favorite Daft Punk songs. Don't worry, they didn't die. Daft Punk is not dead. Even though all the memorials that have been posted and, nice tweets and social media posts that everyone's shared might make it seem like they have died. But they're still well and alive. But we're going to talk about the big news of the week, which of course is that they have called it quits after 28 long years. Yeah, see, Mike says this track doesn't get enough love, and I have to agree. We're going to talk about some other news. I think the other big news of the week really is that over in the UK, there is some very hopeful good news. Oh, hey everyone tuning in. Hey Johnny. Hey Kraus. Hey everyone. Welcome back to the news floor. We're listening to Daft Punk because we're setting the mood. But other news that's happening this week that we're going to get into the details of is, fingers crossed, really good news in the UK that there is light at the end of the tunnel at this point. Things will be opening up if all things go according to plan, which I feel like if we've learned anything from 2020, nothing goes according to plan. So it's really blind faith at this point. But hopefully a year plus into quarantine, we're all doing our best, staying home, wearing masks. So fingers crossed that things will actually open up. So we'll get into that. And I have a ton of good music that we're going to be talking about and sharing clips of this week. Some new stuff from Swalo. It's kind of a love song to the Yucatan, which is really nice. New stuff from Kristoff and Frankie Wah, from Grizz, and from stuff in the news floor and in dance music. You know what? I agree. Daft Punk for life. Love you, loves you. Daft Punk for life. Yeah, drop some Val emotes if you're in the chat joining. Appreciate you guys being here. And let's get into the news. We're talking about, of course, oh God, the Pitchfork news is gone. But we all know it. Daft Punk has broken up and it's so sad. I'll pull up my other favorite article that I read about this, and it was written by my friend Kat Bine over at Billboard, who is a contributor. And of course, Daft Punk was the most influential electronic act of its time, as we all know. Yes, I would agree. Fiji, Daft Punk, and Pharrell are definitely greats. We were lucky to have both of them working together before they called it quits after 28 long years. And again, a reminder, don't worry, Daft Punk did not die. Although it seems like based on all of the tributes and things that people are posting, it might have seemed like they died, but they really just had that strong of an impact on all of us musically. So I am definitely one of the folks who is heartbroken, even though we all kind of knew it was coming because, God, I've been a dance music fan for how long and never had an opportunity to see them. Unfortunately, wasn't at that epic Coachella show back in the day, the Pyramid Show, but of course, let's get into the news. Of course, Thomas and Guy, the duo, the iconic French duo that are Daft Punk, they came together in 1993 which, fun fact, is a year after I was born. So maybe that's why I didn't get a chance to see them. But they came together in 93, and they really helped to define this genre of French touch house music. And we all know it so iconically and so well at this point, but imagine all the way back to 1997 when they debuted with their album Homework, which is still to this day such an incredible classic, something that feels so current, even though obviously it was, back in 97, something so different. Electronic music was not what it is today. Homework featured the classic singles Around the World and Daft Punk, which again, I'm getting really sad not being able to ever hear Around the World from Daft Punk live at their show, but I'm sure we're going to have a lot of tribute plays once things come back into the live space. 2001, their follow-up album was Discovery. And of course, that's also when they introduced these iconic robot heads that we see here. And they really defined, a new path as a genre-defining artist, and also gave us the iconic singles One More Time, Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger, which, I don't know about you, had plenty of good memories to that song. The third album was Human After All in 2005, which I loved the fun fact of the fact that that album was actually kind of poorly received at the time. Pitchfork actually was one of the outlets that gave it a pretty poor review, but Daft Punk has never really been one to, worry about reviews or what people think. They've always been ones who are just innovative and really technically amazing producers. And also not only producers, but also just people who thought differently about what being an electronic artist meant, not only with, their famous helmets and kind of taking themselves out of the equation as far as like being the face of this group that would go on to define and become one of the most legendary acts of all time. But also in 2006, as I previously mentioned, Daft Punk made history during Coachella when they went to the festival in the Sahara tent before it was kind of deemed and known as the traditional dance music tent. They went to perform in the Sahara tent and blew people away with, their amazing kind of LED pyramid setup. And remember, again, this was during a time before, there were crazy productions for live shows for dance music artists. Skrillex's, the Deadmau5s, the Aviciis of the world hadn't even appeared yet. So Daft Punk really changed the game and helped, especially electronic artists, realize that there was more creative, there were more creative outlets that people could experiment to really hone in on not only the electronic music sound, but also the experience in the live world. So wish I could have been there. I would love to know if anyone in the chat was there during that show, because I love finding out about people who, got their minds blown in real life there. Yes, Fiji agreed. The Daft Punk aesthetic is iconic and totally influential for so many artists that you and I love to this day. I think every artist on Twitter was, sharing their condolences for the retirement and the breakup of Daft Punk. Of course, after that came Alive in 2007, the Tron Legacy soundtrack, and then 20 years later, 20 years into their career, we got Get Lucky, Random Access Memories, which Mike and I were just talking about a little bit ago, came out in 2013, even though it feels like it came out much more recently than that. And, a lot of Random Access Memories is a funny album because I feel like a lot of people actually didn't love that album because it was so much more of like an organic sounding album than their previous very, kind of like robotic digital sounding stuff. But of course, it in the music industry was really well received. They earned 3 Grammys with that album, and there's always that iconic clip of them hugging as they kind of received the Grammys, even though they didn't speak when they accepted their award. You could kind of tell how much it meant to them when they hugged during that win. And also, they are co-producers on some other really iconic artists' work, like Yeezus, Kanye West's, of course, album, and as well as The Weeknd's 2016 album, and of course the iconic single Starboy. And yeah, Fiji is pointing out that Kid Cudi sampled them, Kanye sampled them. So I think that there is definitely a big robot-shaped hole in all of our hearts moving forward. But at the same time, I feel like, and this might be optimistic of me, but I feel like this official breakup kind of coming out of quote unquote nowhere, even though they haven't done anything for quite a while as a duo now, but maybe it means that maybe they'll do something solo, maybe they'll continue on in some other new innovative way. Who knows? That's just me being optimistic, but fingers crossed. Would love to know what your guys' favorite Daft Punk tracks are. Maybe we can play it a little bit later and just continue to reminisce. Let me know in the chat, drop it down there, and then let's continue discussing what else is going on in the world of dance music. I think this is some really positive news. Like I always say every week, I'm really happy whenever I can share good news in relation to the live music industry, the music industry in general. In the UK, things are going really well, supposedly, and it is looking very positive that nightclubs and festivals can reopen starting on June 21st. So, last week we actually talked about how in New York, they're going to be reopening some of the larger venues like Barclays Center and Madison Square Garden at I believe it's a 10% capacity. And this was a big push that happened because of sports. So it is going to be really interesting to see how this plays out over in the UK. Prime Minister Boris Johnson, he, is working towards this plan that they have. It's a multi-phase plan. So again, this is kind of one of those things that is contingent on things going well across multiple different checkpoints leading into June 21st. So it's not fully confirmed, but our fingers are crossed because they are aiming to allow nightclubs and live music venues to reopen. The government wants large events to also be able to go ahead by this date, so long as coronavirus cases and hospitalizations continue to fall. So the road back to nightclubs and festivals will begin in the second phase of the roadmap starting on April 12th. And that's when outdoor hospitality, so pubs and restaurants, can resume, which I know for my British friends is very, very exciting because pub culture is what they're all about over there. Phase 3 comes into play on May 17th, and that's when most social contact rules will be lifted or will be aimed to be lifted while outdoors. There's still limits on it. So there are no gatherings over 30 people, I assume officially. Obviously, people will do what they want with that information. Indoor hospitality will also be able to open during that time with the rule of 6, pubs, restaurants, and cinema. So a lot of things that we've been missing for a whole year are going to be potentially back by May if people continue to be safe, social distance, and keep those coronavirus cases down. I like what Spacey Bean says here. The lads are back. We love that. We love to see it. And then, of course, the final phase we will enter into on June 21st. If all things continue to go according to plan, the government will lift legal limits on social contact, which I assume means social distancing, and move to reopen nightclubs, festivals, and other large events such as weddings. So I know that a lot of artists and kind of music industry folk are already kind of looking towards fall as time to kind of optimistically start to rebook artists for shows and sell tickets and prepare for things to come back. So this is really hopeful news. I would love to know what you guys think. Do you guys think that the UK can be on track for June 21st? And also, what do you think that means for us? I see Fiji here says, I'm from LA. No shows will be back soon for us. I agree. I'm also typically based in LA. I think that it's going to be quite a long time until I think indoor dining even is going to be a little tricky because it's just a lot of opportunity to continue spreading things. And I keep hearing things about new strains. And even though people are starting to get the vaccine, it seems a little tricky to be able to jump from outdoor dining all the way to ticketed shows where people are indoors and, maybe they're wearing their mask, but you still have to take it off to drink your drink and whatnot. So I think it's going to be a bit tricky. And also, do we feel safe? If there was the first event happening in the US in whatever city you guys are in, would you feel comfortable buying a ticket and actually going to attend that event? That's something that I haven't even really fully asked myself yet. I feel like I'd be a little worried about going to certain events first, but I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what you guys are feeling because I'm I'm curious to know as well. I'm going to move into the music section right now. Like I mentioned, we have a ton of really good tunes that have come in today, and we're going to start with one from an artist named Swalo, who has a new track out this Friday, I believe, called Yucatan Dream. And we have a little intro from him, so I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about it.
Yo, this is Swalo. I've got a new track dropping February 25th, the Yucatan Dream, to transport you to a place full of white sand beaches, crystal clear water, and a deep, beautiful jungle. It's a respect to solidarity, connection, and love for all people. Much blessings. Please check out the music and also check out my track Ascension I dropped in January. Hope to catch you on the dance floor soon, baby.
All right, let's take a listen. I appreciate Mike's comment. If Tulum was a person. He's in the jungle, you know, he's vibing. There's a whole track dedicated to the Yucatan. Hello for anyone just joining. I see your girl Gamer J is in the chat. Hey everyone. If you're new here, this is the Newsfloor, where we're talking about all the news that happens in the world of dance music and nightlife week to week. We also share brand new tracks. So we're getting into the first of a couple of really awesome tracks that we're listening to. If you missed it, this was from an artist named Swalo. And yes, he was in the jungle telling us about his track called Yucatan Dream, excuse me. Also, I always like to ask people, you know, at the end of these, which their favorite track is out of the ones that we play. So keep track. Let me know which one you guys like the most at the very end. Maybe we'll throw up a poll or something so we can talk about it. Ooh. Look at this fun flute part. Some strong tech house beach party vibes, which I believe are still happening in Tulum pretty regularly, so maybe that's where he's getting inspired. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so that is Swalo's Yucatan Dream. And we're going to move on to our next track. Again, like I mentioned, I like to do a little poll to see at the end which track you like the best. So let me know. Is it going to be that one, or is it going to be the brand new one from Kristoff and Frankie Wah? We actually have a little intro clippy from him as well. So I'm going to let him tell you all about it.
Hey, I'm Kristoff. So the collab came about. Me and Archie work on a lot of music together and have been for a while now. So he called last summer and said he had a great vocal going and a great idea for a record. So he sent it across. I immediately loved it and started to get to work on it. So we sat there for a bit. And for a while now, me and Frank have been talking about doing stuff because he gets a bit of interest on his socials and so do I, for us to get some stuff together and basically do a collab together. So I sent him across the idea. Again, Frankie loved it. He hit me back up saying send him the stems and stuff like that, and he added his bits. So all three of us were working on different areas type of thing, each in each other's studios. We couldn't get together because of the lockdown situation and things. And basically from there, The World You See was born. So there you have it. I hope you all enjoy it, and I hope you can all kind of connect with the record on some sort of level.
Alrighty, let's listen to this one from Kristoff. His accent is amazing. I could listen to him read me a whole book if he would be up for it. This track is, like he mentioned, a collaboration with Frankie Wah featuring Arche, I believe I'm saying that correctly, hopefully, on vocals, who he previously collaborated with in 2018 on Voice of Silence. This track is out on Prida Presents, which of course is Eric Grizz's esteemed label. And Prida Presents actually was the first to give Kristoff his kind of big debut back in 2017. So again, another special debut, or another special release, I should say. Grizz has been a big fan of Kristoff ever since. I believe Kristoff has opened for quite a few of Eric Grizz's shows. Definitely sets the vibe, very moody, simmering, throwing out some other adjectives there. Kristoff has had a really busy 2021, actually. He started off the year with an essential mix, so congrats to Kristoff. Seems like there is more coming from Kristoff. I see Fiji has a question about, are these small artists? These are artists across dance music, and these are some of their new releases. If you're new here, we're here on the Newsfloor sharing some of the new tracks of the week. So this is a new one from an artist named Kristoff and Frankie Wah. It's called The World You See. I always like to go off camera for a little bit so you don't have to always like stare at me vibing to the track, but don't you worry, I am vibing in the back to the track. Kristoff is such a good producer. It's going to be interesting to see what is coming up next from him. Fiji, it's okay if you're not familiar with the dance genre. That's why you're here. I'm here to give you your weekly download. This is a one-stop shop for all the new tunes. Hopefully you hear something you like. You don't have to like all of them, but hopefully you hear about either a new artist or a new track, whatever it might be. Learn about some new news. You know, a lot of the news that we're talking about is not only dance music specific, even though a lot of it is, but a lot of it also has to do with the music industry, live events industry as well. Been talking a lot about how COVID affects all of us. But fingers crossed. Sounds like you're a hip-hop fan because I saw you were hoping for Rolling Loud to come back. But, you know, so we're all in the same boat. Alrighty. Don't forget, which one's your favorite so far? We've heard from Swalo, we've heard from Kristoff and Frankie Wah. Next up, we are going to hear from a familiar face, hopefully to you guys. His name is Grizz, of course, and there is a brand new track from him this week. He has such a nice vibe, which has to do with the track as well, as you can tell by the title. It's called Vibe Check, and we're going to hear from him about the track. So without further ado.
Hi, I'm Grizz, and I'm a saxophone player, DJ, and a producer. And I just dropped a new song called Vibe Check. It's a saxophone, good vibes, dubstep banger. If you're having a bad day, hopefully it can uplift your day a bit. And if you're having a super awesome day, hopefully you can just play it and get some extra super duper dope good vibes popping off in your day. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I love you. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you around. Peace.
I don't know how anyone could not be in a good mood after seeing Grizz being so cheerful and adorable. But let's listen to Vibe Check. Always a tune. If you're not familiar with Grizz as an artist, this is very much his vibe. This kind of like soulful, funky, saxophony, dubstep kind of mixture. So unique and it's so fun. See, this is where I'm going to bring in Mike because he's bopping. Ready?
Bop, bop. The vibe check.
It's a good vibe check. Ooh. See, this is fun. We had a little like moody house music. We have a little like tech house, beach party vibes. We've also got this craziness. Saxophone meets squelchy dubstep. little bit of everything for some people here. This is Grizz's first release of 2021, so hopefully that means there's more to come. I really like this artwork too. What do you guys think about this artwork? Very trippy.
Yeah, it's a vibe check.
That is Vibe Check. Fiji says the artwork is dope. I totally agree. I'm loving the colors. And you know what? I actually really appreciate the energy of a track like this because, like, I feel like we've heard from a lot of artists who have been producing or feeling like a more mellow vibe just because, you know, we're obviously not out dancing very much right now. We're not out partying very much. But that one, it still feels like things are normal and people are happy and out partying. So I very much appreciate Grizz's Vibe Check and also high energy vibes. So let me know what you think about that one. And let's move on to our last but certainly not least track. We've got a big collab here coming from Seth Troxler and the Martinez brothers, which if you're not familiar with them, they are absolute legends of the electronic scene and so good individually, but it's going to be really wonderful to listen to what they are up to together. And we actually got a little intro from Seth Troxler himself, so I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about how this track came to.
Hey, I'm Seth Troxler, and we're here to talk about Play in the Dark, and my new single with the Martinez brothers coming out on Crosstown the Rebels. This track's kind of origins are a bit funny. It originally started as me and the bros just thinking we should make some music together. We were separated by the oceans or whatever, and everyone was kind of locked in their house during the lockdown. And then they sent me some stems, like a couple kind of ideas they had been working on, but like a kind of basically like a loop. I took that, added some parts of my own. It was actually when I got COVID myself. I had been diagnosed with the virus. I got stuck in the house that I really kind of sat down and did the vocals and got in this really kind of crazy headspace from being sick and in lockdown that we kind of created the song. So yeah, Play in the Dark was really about my kind of anxieties of having COVID, of looking back at my past life, and then adding in this kind of great kind of music that I've done. Then we created the Steam Mix later, like a month ago, a couple months ago with the bros, where we were both in New York together, got to sit down on the track together, and added some extra bits, and then wanted to turn in a really kind of turbo mix out. I hope you guys all like it as much as we did, enjoyed making it, and I hope it hits the stores right about when you were seeing this video, so go out and buy it.
All right. Shout out to Seth, who can take a bad situation like getting COVID and turn it into a track, because I don't know if I had COVID, knock on wood, I have not gotten COVID, but I don't know if I would be in the mood to create music about it. But Johnny says this one's a certified banger. Let's see. What do we think? Do we think it's a certified banger? I have here playing the Steam Mix as well, so there's a couple different versions of this tune. So I encourage you, if you're into this kind of vibe that you're hearing right now, there's also a couple different versions to go check out or buy as well. This track is going to be out on Crosstown Rebels. It is actually going to be Seth and the Martinez brothers' debut on Damian Lazarus' esteemed label. And I mean debut as in their kind of first collaborative track that they're releasing together. It is the duo's first release together since Space and Time back in 2014, which is a long time ago now that if you think about it. And also Seth Troxler's first studio output in a while, possibly because our mans was recovering from COVID during this crazy time. And it's out now, so you can go check it out.
The shadows followed you.
But let's take a listen. Let's settle into this one. This one feels like a track you settle into, so I'm gonna let it play out for a while.
Now with nothing else to hide. Ooh. Nowhere else to scream. Ah! Woo!
Okay, this one's got some spooky vibes. What do you guys think? I'm hearing some eerie spooky vibes. I like listening to the song knowing the context that Seth was trying to translate his own anxieties about recovering from COVID, because you kind of feel it. It's like a little creepy, a little freaky. So Allie's asking, wonder what the Steam mix denotes. I think that Seth mentioned in his intro that they went back with the Steam mix and just added some like extra pizzazz to it.
See you at the club. The shadow is following you.
It's a bit of a creepier vibe. Fiji says sounds creepy. I agree. That is the adjective for this tune. It's got like that weird like clowny carnival vibe, which I feel like could be very divisive for people. But if dropped at the right moment in the evening, could also be a big win. Because now we're grooving. All right, I think Mike is gonna trigger a poll because I want to know which one of the tracks that we just played is your guys' favorite. We have this current one playing that is from Seth Troxler and the Martinez Brothers. We had Vibe Check from Grizz. We had Kristoff and Frankie Waz, World You See, and also Swalo from with the Yucatan Dream. So go let me know in the poll which one was your favorite. Creepy clown dancing to this. I'm glad you understand what I mean when I'm like invoking that visual, because it's definitely a very unique sound. But you know what? We always know that Seth Troxler and the Martinez Brothers are unique, so no surprise. Okay, thank you for the note. We will work on the audio quality. That happened to us last week a little bit. I thought it was just because we had a virtual being as one of our featured guests, and I thought that he was so technically advanced that he was ruining our audio, but we will work on that. Appreciate the comment, Creative Juice 5. All right, now it is time. Thank you guys for voting in the poll. Letting me know which tracks is your favorite. Honestly, this week was so good. I'm gonna have to say, I think my favorite might have been Grizz's Vibe Check. A bit different, definitely not like a house techno one, but like I was mentioning, I think the high positive energy is really welcomed right now, and I also really like the artwork. So, let me know which one was your guys' favorite. Okay, without further ado, I want to get into our chat of the week with the one and only Unique, who is such a talent. I love catching up with her. She's been a rising star for a while, as far as being this kind of pioneering talent for the Jersey club genre. She's been keeping really, really busy even during this time, during quarantine. She has a super active Twitch channel. She is working on new music and releasing. And I'm just really excited to welcome her, give her some space, and hear what she is up to. So without further ado, let's hear from Unique. My dear, welcome to the Newsfloor. How are you?
Hey, what's up? I'm good. I'm chilling.
You are looking comfy and cool in this amazing space. I know I just asked you about it, and you mentioned that your friend painted like the backdrop and everything. It looks like your cozy hideout, huh?
Yeah, it's my like little producer corner in my apartment. My infamous pink wall. It's like in music videos and magazines now, so it's kind of like a thing I'm gonna like always have. But yeah, my friend Gianni Lee painted it when I just moved in.
That's amazing. So. That's a good way to show people you're like, it is truly a DIY situation over here. You're like, this is my space. I sit here, I live here, I work here, and I also take photos and, make shit happen here, which I love.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you have been super busy, over the past few months in general, but also even this weekend. I wanted to kick things off by asking you about the Goldie Awards, because I know that on Friday you were one of the esteemed judges. And I tuned in for a little bit, and it was so cool. A-Track always kind of brings out the best in people, especially like the DJ community. But I'd love to hear, from your eyes, how it went and how you're feeling afterwards.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm happy you tuned in. I thought it was really inspiring. So of course, like, I'm really excited to judge the Goldie Awards. Off the back, though, I really love the Goldies because, they're just really progressive in terms of like DJ and producer battles.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they include people of all ages and, just allow people to use different equipment to just really showcase what matters is the
Yeah.
music. So, I always have a blast judging the Goldies. I got to judge physically in 2019. And they took a break during 2020, but they're back for their first ever digital Goldie Awards, and I'm judging it. It was really sick. I was really inspired. Like the DJ sets were so, it was just a wide range of, different DJs from all over the world, just really giving it their all. Some were really technical. Some were more on just like the vibes. They were all just about the vibes and the selection and the
Yep.
transitioning. And then some were just, like really creative in terms of like the now and like DJs and streaming and, so I
Yeah.
just loved it. It inspired me. The finalists are Fumi, who is like more technical, and DJ Lazy Boy, who killed it on incorporating like the live stream aspects, and DJ Michelle, who's 8 years old, and she definitely had like us rocking like a party vibe. And I'm judging it, of course, with A-Track and Craze, who's a legend. Everybody done looked up to him, who's a turntablist, a DJ. So I'm just happy to be a part of it and just rep for the ladies, of course.
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
I love
That
it.
is, yeah, no, that's amazing. And I love that you point out that there's like an added element of creativity, especially I would feel like even almost more so on the digital side of things, like bringing the Goldies online. Because I did see, some of the artists were playing around with the visuals and having fun with the streaming side of it. And I feel like, I mean, what I love about your career is like you're obviously a really talented, artist and musician on like the music side of things, but I feel like you've got such like cool style and like you just have like a really cool like visual look as well. So I feel like that's another great way to showcase artists, not only for their musical taste, but also for like just who they are in general,
Word. And it was so sick, like, thank you. And it was so sick seeing like the chat go crazy. Like,
Yeah.
when things were like when they really loved the DJ set. It was just so sick, like really interactive still. Despite us, not being in that physical state. I don't think the streaming aspect of the Goldies will go away now.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I feel like, yeah, I mean, definitely we're all missing like the in-person shows, but at the same time, it's like you can still feel that energy from like the Twitch chat and, when people are really hyped about like one moment together. And, speaking,
Definitely.
yeah, and speaking of Twitch, I really wanted to talk about and learn more about, how you have really honed in on your kind of Twitch channel. And I know you've got the whole Club Chronicles thing going on. So for those who are tuning in who might not be familiar, I'd love for you to kind of give an intro to what it is and like what you've been doing over there.
Oh, sick. Club Chronicles is definitely what it is. It's my Club Chronicles. It's a Twitch series I started. It's kind of just like me, giving everybody a behind the scenes look of what I do, but I was just too busy to, stream it. And I produce live every Tuesday and just, let people in on my studio sessions. Sometimes I'll do a poll and let them decide what I'm going to remix. And it's really interactive. I try to incorporate everybody in the chat within my production and even give tips and, just talk them through what I'm doing. And they see me create music in real time.
Yeah.
And on Thursdays, that's like everybody's favorite day because that's Club Heat of the Week for Club Chronicles, where I have all my club heads. Those are my fans, my family.
Love it.
I call them my club heads. That's what all those Jersey club heads do. We call them the club heads, and they submit their music, and I give them feedback, and I dance, and I have cool visuals. I also just love to showcase like new artists I'm listening to. So I'll show a music video of like the latest dance music video from like Shy Girl or like Lolita Leopard, and just put them on to like just new things in the club world, because all these artists are still working and creating dope things, and we don't really have an outlet right now. So I just wanted to use my show to kind of just curate music as a whole, even if it's visually. So I've been having fun doing that on Thursdays and getting to know my fans. I've seen them create so much music and even put out projects from this. Like myself, I've also just released so much music that I've produced on Twitch, like, that's out now on Spotify. So I just
Wow.
that intimate moment, it's really cool. And I feel like people respect my work more. And yeah, I get to just really connect with my fans still, like all over the world. It's been fun. I lay a DJ set. I have friends come through. So
I
that's
love
Club
that.
Chronicles. I want to keep, I want to involve more people in my community this year. I feel like last year was like my jump start into the streaming world, really like getting a hold of it and being able to do all the cool visual stuff to make people attracted to like the education that I'm providing them and the entertainment too. But now I want to incorporate more people in my community, like more dancers and, just older people in the scene that could share knowledge, like archive history and cool stuff like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was gonna say you're already kind of dropping so many tips and hints for, I assume, there's so many artists who kind of look to people like you and be like, I'm curious about streaming and I don't know what to do, but it sounds like you're kind of laying the groundwork of like, get your footing right, get comfortable with the visuals and everything, and then start to like branch out as far as the actual, programming or content that you're putting on there. That I was kind of going to ask you this question later, but I feel like now's a good time. Like I mentioned earlier, I feel like what I love about your career is like, obviously your music is amazing, but also like like I mentioned earlier, your fashion, your art, like kind of taste and visuals. Who are some like creative people you're excited about, whether it's like young musicians and DJs and producers, or if it's, artists or other kind of creatives?
There's a couple. There's this artist. Her name is Akashi. She is like they do dope like carpets and jewelry, and it's very colorful.
Ooh.
Like I just love the colorful aesthetic. So I follow
Yeah.
them. I get like really. There was also another woman whose body of work, she just made like sculptures out of like braids, but it was like a
Whoa.
sculpture of a head, but it was like covered in braids. Like I posted it on my stories. Um, I don't know her name. I forgot it because I just saw the other day and I was like, this is dope. But I just get inspired by stuff I see, in
Yeah.
terms of like my fashion and my aesthetic, but also just my space. Like I'm like home all the time now
Yeah.
compared to being out and about. Um, traveling and getting influenced that way, because that used to influence me a lot, just seeing new cultures and how they operate. But now I feel like in between my own walls, I get like really inspired, like by my plants, like, just seeing the patterns on my plants. I'm like, wow, like that's fire. You know what I mean? Or I have a disco ball in my house, and at the evening time, the sun hits it, and like I like to call it happy hour. So I get
It
really
is happy
inspired
hour.
by that too. And even just the mess. Like, for instance, my Digital Diva cover, it's like my legs, but they're covered in like RCA cords. Like I felt like that was my life. I was trying to figure out streaming, and I'm just like, oh, like this goes here and that goes there. Take it apart to do music now. You know what I mean? And it's just like I'm constantly plugging in, taking out, plugging in, taking out, wrapped in cords. So,
Love
just
it.
putting that with just like, the feminine I am is just like, I got inspiration from that. It's like, yeah, I want the cover to be like me wrapped up like a cyborg, but like an RCA DJ equipment, but
That's
not look
amazing.
corny.
You're like, but cool,
So
but cool. No, I mean, that's the most relatable thing I've ever heard. I feel like even personally, I've spent a lot more, I guess, money and time just like buying cool decor for the inside of my house that makes me happy. And that's exactly what you're doing, but actually like pulling inspiration from it as well. So pro tip for anyone else watching who feels uninspired, invest in
right.
some cool decor. Maybe it'll help.
Yes.
Invest in some cool plants. Related
The
again to
disco
the next
ball.
question. Yeah, I wanted to ask you also, it sounds like you kind of already, started to pull inspirations from other places, but I guess if you had to give tips to people who maybe like yourself, who are more known for or like kind of exist in this world of like club driven music, what would you tell people who are like feeling uninspired, who are like feeling kind of like they need something to bring them back up in the studio?
Right. I feel that it's been like no sun out, you know what I mean? Like the weather is like, at least over here on the East Coast, we're like
Yeah.
blizzard sun, blizzard sun, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Maybe
rough
sun.
over there.
So it's just like, a time where it's like really hard to be like pumped up. I would definitely say just like, maybe do something obscure. Like I always enjoy like, listening to other people's mixes and getting inspired from other mixes and working out to that, maybe do a good stretch.
Yeah.
I also really love like, you know, maybe like safely calling a friend over with the USB and just getting some energy from them because,
Hmm.
like you could get that synergy going between you two and they might need it too.
Yeah.
I also feel like subconsciously listening to your favorite music or even your music, like, I play everybody's you Twitch. Hello. Like a lot of us are gamers now, aside from just like, showcasing music. And I feel like, subconsciously listening to your music in the background while doing something else that is like really, interactive could always just pick up, different things in your brain that, and inspire you. And yeah, watching other Twitch sets. Like I love watching other people on Twitch. Like I love watching their DJ sets. Like Jukebox Work Channel's always popping off. They're one of
Hmm.
my faves. Abracadabra's been doing some cool stuff.
Hmm.
LCGOB, she's always streaming. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
She's one that I watch too. Yeah, there's just like a few people on Twitch that I just really enjoy. I also like painting. I feel like painting is cool. Just if you're a creative, and you're in the club realm, I feel like you should just explore other things that are productive to your craft, but like, still involve your music. Like maybe think of like what's a DIY photo shoot I could do like that reflects my music,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be no better time to experiment than right now, where it's
Yeah,
like,
it's just about experimenting for real.
yeah,
It's never
exactly.
been so slow. I know we all feel like a little anxious sometimes, like,
Hmm.
with everything being digital, but it's like, we need to like enjoy it while it's lasting because it's not going to last long now.
Yeah, fingers crossed there's light at the end of the tunnel. And speaking of which, I'd love to know, what should we be looking out coming
Oh
from you
man,
next?
me next, so much, honestly. Um, ooh, where should I start? Well, first things first, I had to pivot so much. So, like, I released so much music last year. I'm going to continue the Digital Divas series this year, as long as we're still in the realm. And I really just want to, give more visuals to that so people could kind of get in touch. I honestly feel like now in the music industry, everybody's going that route. So,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Everybody's giving that Digital Diva lifestyle. You've been seeing it, like, with the, VHS and the
Yep.
chords and all that stuff. So I
Hmm.
really just want to show my side of it since the project is called that. And I'm also doing a lot of radio this year. I'm on NTS monthly
Woo.
now. And that's tied in with the Twitch series because whoever submits to Club Chronicles on Club Heat of the Week Thursdays, they get the opportunity, if their track is so hot, to be featured in my DJ mix for NTS. So, that's another way that I could just show love to my fans and creators out there. And I'm also working on Sirius XM, and that's really big. So I'm really excited for that to come into fruition. And an album is in the works.
Wow.
Yes. And yeah, like I just want to I have a lot working on new stuff with Splice. That's getting situated. And yeah, I just want to create more things this year though. I'm looking for ways to like really bring my community back into the picture since we had to take a break because of the pandemic.
Hmm.
um and yeah,
Well,
like
no
make more
shortage,
music, of course. Like I'm trying to make bangers if things open back up. I mean, I feel
of
like I have
course.
not made bangers, but like the bangers at festivals. I feel like my music
Hmm.
is like bangers, but they're like I feel like they're more listenable for in the house, all
Hmm.
aside from the club now,
Yeah.
like, rather than making like some festival type.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll come once we can all reunite and celebrate on the dance floor. but
Yeah.
it sounds like you are staying booked and busy even during this crazy pandemic indoor time. So I'm really excited for you. I hope that we will get to see all of the amazing stuff that you're working on really soon. I'll drop a link to your socials so people can stay in tune with you. And otherwise, thank you so much, Unique. I hope you have a great rest of your week. You're awesome.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you for having me on Newsfloor.
Of course, you're the best. Take care. Shout out to Unique, cutest gal. I saw her up in the chat. So if you want to say hi, drop a chat to Unique. I also dropped her link. So definitely, if you're not already a follower, do yourself a favor and follow her ASAP. Obviously, she is staying so busy and has so much going on. It sounds like we're going to be hearing not only more music, but also some amazing radio stuff. And I'm sure more cool Twitch stuff, more fire visuals. And I just can't wait. So she's up in the chat. Hi, Unique. So nice to have you. And that is kind of the end of the news floor. And I always like to pick something fun to play. And obviously, the theme of the week has been Daft Punk and their retirement. So what